And we are live. Okay. So this is the MG and Professor show. MG Mary Lee's like off like because like her whole I was telling my co-host for this week, but for this day I should say, because I'm doing a lot of shows this week. Vance, Meek, that like we're like she's like in Philadelphia. Her house is fine, her family's fine, but she can't be on the show because of like she literally doesn't have Wi-Fi. And it's like, I mean, it's such a first world problem, but that storm was crazy. Like, I mean, we were talking, Vance and I were just talking off the air. It's like, because like it destroyed Louisiana and it went up all through and hit him even. Like, he got rain, right, Vance?
Yeah, we got rain for a couple of days, but it wasn't like severe. I don't certainly not what the South got or what the Northeast got.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, and it just shows like that we're still not ready for a major storm in the Northeast. But like I said, thankfully we got like wind, and that's like it, and it was barely any.
Yeah.
Up here in Rochester, and so like yeah, like I said, like I'm like hopefully we'll have my co-host like hopefully sooner than later back. But till then, I'm just gonna do fly solo and do some quick hits with some of my friends that know teams better than I do because I never stop learning. I mean, we're gonna be simple. We're just gonna probably talk about one game this weekend. It's the Vikings that hit that Vance's Bengals. I mean, you gotta be excited for opening week of football. I mean,
oh, of course, yeah. It's always, no matter what your team is expected to do or what you think they might do, week one is always just a joyous event.
Yeah, it's like it's where optimism still kind of exists, almost like you're like a Jets fan. But yeah, it's where every team's 0-0, so it's like everyone's got a shot.
Yeah.
Again, unless you're a Jets fan.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I know the teams pretty well, but like I mean, you can like sneak preview this whole game for me, and we can banter back and forth. Like Joe Burrow, how's his knee? Looks well.
He seems to be, by at least medical standards, 100% or at least very close to that. There doesn't seem to be any limping, any noticeable effects from the injury. He's dropping back, he's planning, he's throwing, he looks fine. The remaining questions will be mentally until he takes that first hit, really, I suppose, and sees that, hey, it's okay. When I step, it's going to be fine. When I get hit, it's going to be fine. And then I think that'll be the last hurdle to really overcome with that.
Yeah, I would say I think Mike Tyson said best. Like everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly.
Where we're at. I mean, and like you said, this is a serious injury. Like, I'm uniquely qualified. I mean, I've never had the ACL torn, but I've had meniscus surgeries and all that, and it's a mental game, even for something quote minor like a meniscus tear. It's frightening. It's like you have to learn to walk again. You have to do this, you have to do that, and like I'm no way in hell of number one overall pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, even a world-class athlete, a professional athlete who does this 24/7, it's not easy to completely destroy your knee and then go back out on the football field for the first time and have 300-pound professional athletes diving at your body and planning to hit you as hard as they can. So
and I mean I don't think it happens as much anymore, but you have a big bullseye in your knee now.
Yeah.
Saying basically every defender say hit here.
Yeah. Sorry, I've got dog action going on behind me. They're fighting.
That just adds to the show, man.
They're on one.
Yeah. So that's it's good news. I mean, like I'm sure. From experience, I've told yes, he's clear to play. We'll say that much, but was he 100%? Probably not. Like I mean, you said he's probably close, but he's like, it's literally the last like 5% that takes forever.
Yeah, that's going to be the hardest part. Is it's going to take hits, and he's going to probably come up sometimes, and maybe he'll have a limp, and fans are going to have to
hold their breath.
Realize that not every hit. It's going to be an adjustment for fans too. Every time he gets hit, if he doesn't bounce directly back up, fans are going to panic because oh god, he's hurt again. Like it's going to be a little tough for everybody to watch, at least for a time.
I mean, I could be a jerk and say he shouldn't be desensitized from Kajana Carr, who turned like his ACL twice or three times.
Yeah, something like that. It was not good.
No, I was just saying something. It's a Bengal fan. He'll be fine. He can take a hit. He's a big boy. He'll be fine.
His toughness has always been one of his best attributes. He's just a tough dude, and so
Yeah.
I think he'll figure it out, even if it takes a game or two.
I mean, yeah, and it's gonna be a great test. I mean, I don't think Minnesota's defense is what it used to be, but it's still there. I mean, so yeah, but like, I mean, I'm happy they got targets for Burrow. Like you took, was it Waddle? I have all those three receivers that were taken really early, all blurred together in my head for some reason. Was it Jalen Waddle?
The Dolphins took Waddle. The Bengals took Chase.
That's what Jamar Chase. Sorry, I mean we said all Jamar Chase, like Waddle and Devontae Smith all blur together for me because it's like all
sure.
They're basically almost virtually the same receiver to me.
Yeah, they're all three super talented, and I don't think either of the three would have been terrible choices. I famously had Waddle graded higher on my board. That was who I wanted the Bengals to take. They went with Chase.
Oh, I'm surprised you had Waddle higher, just for the fact that like I'm surprised you didn't have like Chase higher just because he played with Burrow at LSU for that season.
Yeah, and a lot of people factor that in. I judged it more on. I tried not to account for that and take it more just on the field play.
I get it, but it's like I think it's instant chemistry, which is never a bad thing.
Oh, sure. And hopefully that plays a part, even though Chase is dropping everything that he's
I was
getting thrown to right now.
I was gonna say he's had it usually drops. Do you think they should have taken what's his name that Detroit took Penei Sewell?
I don't want to say that yet. I don't want to say that they made the wrong choice. I think we should at least let him play regular season first and see how he does. Clearly, he's struggling with the drop, but he hasn't played in a year, so that's got to factor in some. And it should be mentioned at least that Sewell has not exactly been dominant in Detroit either. He's having rookie struggles as well.
Yeah, so they have some, and then the Bills rookie, Greg Rousseau just pushed him around. It's like this guy's Orlando Pace 2.0, and all of a sudden you see this gigantic freak. I'm sorry if you've never seen the size of Greg Rousseau. He's a gigantic freak.
He's a huge dude. And he's learning a new position as well, and that counts for something. He's moving, I believe, to right tackle for Detroit, and it would have been the same in Cincinnati. He was not going to play left tackle in Cincinnati. They have Jonah Williams. They think he's their left tackle for the next 10 years or more.
I hope so.
So it was going to be Sewell at right tackle in Cincinnati too. So there's a good chance it would have been some of the same growing pains for him. And I think we chalk it up to that for now with him and Chase both. I don't think either one of them was a bad pick or would have been a bad pick.
But we and I both can be happy about one thing. Bobby Hart's not on either of our teams anymore.
That's the thing about the Cincinnati offensive line, and I'm sure we'll get a chance to kind of talk about that some more. The Cincinnati offensive line was bad last year. There's no doubting that. They didn't really add any big pieces. Riley Reef came in at right tackle, depending on how you view him. Maybe a bigger name at this point. He's a little bit older, but
better than Bobby Hart.
By subtraction. They do not have Bobby Hart playing right tackle. They do not have Michael Jordan playing left guard. And those two accounted for a large number of pressures and hits and sacks on Burrow last year, including the one that got hurt.
The season I liked Michael Jordan coming out of Ohio State. I'm like, holy cow, the Bengals, like they're actually investing in an offensive line. This is really smart football. Like I love this, but also like none of them except for Jonah Williams panned out. It seems like
I don't think he was a bad pick. I really don't. He was, I believe, a fourth rounder.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they invested an early pick in him. The problem was that as a fourth rounder, he needed time to work with a good offensive line coach, and he ended up with a bad offensive line coach who wasn't able to coach him or anybody else up, and then also was thrust into the starting lineup before he was really ready to be a starter. And then once the injury happened, he was tainted forever in Cincinnati. There was no chance that he was ever going to be remembered in Cincinnati for anything other than the guy who got Burrow hurt, and he just had to go somewhere else and get a fresh start, which hopefully he does.
Yeah, I think so. It's like he's like I said, Cincinnati's spent I can't even think like between day 1 and day 2 picks and like 4th round picks on offensive line in the last 5 years. It seems like every year they're picking at least like one or two early.
They've invested in the offensive line. They maybe not always good. They picked several first round picks that didn't pan out, but they're trying. So you can't really say they're not at least trying to improve it. They picked another one this year in the second round. Maybe not the guy a lot of people wanted. Wasn't necessarily the guy that I wanted, but they are investing in the offensive line. They have a better coach now. Hopefully they can put things together and be improved.
Yeah, I'm just telling everyone, see this guy, Mr. Burrow, protect him.
Yeah, do not let him get destroyed again.
Or if he gets cheap shot, take out the guy that destroyed you. Don't be like Buffalo and have Josh Allen start the fight.
Yeah.
I won't talk about my Bills too much. I will try my best not to bring them up. But it's gonna be a good test early. Minnesota's got some really underappreciated defense. They're a little bit older now, but they're still a potent defense. I think your defense can hang with Minnesota's offense because Kirk Cousins is Joe average.
I think that most people are coming around to that. Kirk Cousins is kind of a weird one because he is so considered, maybe just by the bigger media, but he's considered one of the bigger names maybe at quarterback. He's more higher rated among ESPN, NFL Network types than he is among actual fans and maybe I don't want to say lower tier media types, but people who aren't getting paid big dollars to analyze it,
or people that aren't on TV, we'll say.
Yeah, there you go. He can have good games and he can go off, but he's pretty average a lot of the time.
Yeah, he's a worse Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's my honest assessment of him. It's when I saw that. I just remember. He won't. Like I said, I promise not to mention the Bills too much, but I remember that Bills Vikings game, Josh Allen's rookie year. It's they were 17-point favorites, and he just looked awful all game. And the Bills just came in and just annihilated it. I remember my friend coming to the bar watching the game with me. He showed up late. He's like, "Hey, what's the score?" I'm like, "Oh, it's 17-0." He's like, "Already?" I'm like, "Yeah." Buffalo was like, wait, what? Because no one saw that start ever.
I think it's important to note too, and I think this maybe just came out today or within the last couple of days, but PFF released their offensive line rankings, and I know everybody has some people have problems with PFF and don't necessarily buy into PFF, but Pro Football Focus, if you don't know what that means, they have the Vikings graded as the 31st best offensive line in the league. So Cousins is not the most mobile quarterback, so that could be a problem for them. The Bengals haven't been good at rushing the passer in the past few years, so that's still somewhat of a question. They brought in some guys to hopefully help with that. We'll see how that plays out, but that is an area where they could gain an advantage over the Vikings if they can get the pass rush going.
Yeah, if you can get the pass rushing going, you can get in Kirk's head easily.
Yeah, you can make him make mistakes. He'll throw some bad passes if you can get to him.
And he's got occasional dropsies issues too.
Now the advantage Cousins have is that he does have good receivers, of course. Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen are pretty amazing receivers. So they'll make some plays for him, and that's going to come down. And that's the one area where they have an advantage distinctly this week because Trey Waynes will be playing, former Viking. So the Bengals will be running Eli Apple out, I believe, to start.
Oh, God. This is going to be there too.
Matched up with either Jefferson or Thielen one, and that's definitely advantage Vikings. So it'll be interesting to watch how that whole dynamic plays out. Maybe whether they roll coverage his way. Maybe Bates rolls more to Apple's side of the field to help out.
Because Tyler Bates. Tyler Bates. I know the name. I know who he is. Jesse Bates. That's right. I'm going through all the heads of my names in my head. He's one of the best safeties in football that no one knows about.
Yeah, and he has good range. He plays the sort of the old school free safety position. He can cover ground from sideline to sideline. So if they can get some help at least over the top with the on Apple's side of the field, maybe that'll mitigate some of the damage he can do.
Worst case, you always get Eli's mom to help cover. She's everywhere else around him.
Yeah.
I feel bad for I feel bad for the Bengals. I feel bad for the Saints. I feel bad for the Giants because she's like a helicopter mom.
Yeah, I've heard. I haven't really followed it too much. I've heard from the time in New York and New Orleans.
I mean, I get it, like, especially like in New York or New Orleans. You probably want your mother there because you're probably gonna cause getting
Sure.
some trouble, especially New Orleans. Just saying.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
I mean,
Everybody
yeah.
usually gets in trouble in New Orleans.
I mean, I'm actually going to be in New Orleans for Thanksgiving. I can't wait. Side note on that. That's gonna be. I mean, like we talked about a little bit off camera how like it's gonna be like it's very quiet and somber in Buffalo when they take on the Steelers this weekend. It's
Go
gonna be
Bills.
that's huh?
Go Bills.
Yeah, it's Bills Saints on Thanksgiving. So yeah, that's me. Yeah, let's have New Orleans. You have the Saints who tailgate well. You have the Bills who arguably tailgate better than anyone, and let's make it Thanksgiving in New Orleans.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
Don't ask. You might find out.
Yeah, I might have to see things I will never see again, and that probably for the best.
Probably.
But yeah, I think so back to your games. I say I try to focus on this one game so we can get you in and out. Yeah, it's like I like the Vikings' chances. Like I said, if Burrow if he can mentally say, like, "Hey, I can do this," I think he could take down the Vikings. I mean, playing at home helps. I didn't see the weather
It should
yet.
be a good game. They have a chance to win. The Bengals are going to be interesting to kind of see where they're at this year. You're talking about Zach Taylor's third year, and it's going to be must-win year for him. He's under pressure. If he doesn't win this year, he's just not going to, and they're going to find somebody else. Lou Anarumo's kind of tied to him. He's going to be out as well.
Would you give him the full season?
I don't know if I would. I guess it depends on how it would play out. If they are at least competitive and winning a game or two, if they were, say, I don't know, maybe like 2-4 after 6 games, but they played the losses, if they were in the games, then maybe I give him more time. But if they're like 0-6, 0-7, then I would be done. I don't know that the Bengals will. They're not big on firing guys necessarily mid-season.
Well, because Mike Brown doesn't want. Well, Mike Brown doesn't want to pay him. That's why.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. But I think you'll get the year most likely, unless the bottom just completely falls out. But they have a chance to win some games this year. They've got some, especially early on, they've got winnable games, and I think it's going to, it's going to be really important for them to start off at least average. If they can get to a 2-2 start or something like that, then I think the fans are in a much better place. I think the team gains confidence, a lot of the young players, and then I think things kind of flow from there.
And like I said, my Bills will do our part to help you out by beating the Steelers this weekend.
It would be, yeah, it'd be handy.
It won't hurt. But yeah. I'm picking. I think I my betting sheet. I think I picked the Bengals actually to win because I just think like, hey, they're home. Burrow's back. He's gonna come out like I think he's gonna come out possessed, like to show something. He's got something to prove. Like I am back. My knee's fine.
I think it'll be a fun offensive game. We talked about the Thielen and Jefferson, but on the other side, the trio of Chase, assuming that he figures out the drops issue, Higgins, and then Tyler Boyd is a formidable 3-headed monster at wide receiver for the Bengals. And the Vikings are running out Rashad Breeland and Patrick Peterson as their corners. Patrick Peterson, one of the all-time greats, but he is not a young man anymore.
I would say I think the expression is he's long in the tooth.
Yeah, there's a good way to put it. He's a little bit older at this point, so maybe lost a step. I know Jamar Chase made some comments. I don't remember word for word what he said, but he basically said that Patrick Peterson is like one of his all-time favorite players, but he would like to beat him this weekend. Is what it came down to. Both from LSU, of course.
Well, hopefully, like I said, maybe it's not too much Baltimore material. Would be for the best.
Well,
and maybe he'll be like Darrelle Revis, like his last couple years in the NFL, where he's like, yeah, he still has the legacy of being okay. You can't get a catch a ball on me. Then also, hey, if everyone's catching a ball on you, it's no longer Revis Island. I think people have moved on to your timeshares.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's like I said, I did. Yeah, this definitely seems like a very offensive minded game both ways. High scoring,
yeah,
definitely.
I think it could be a fairly high scoring game. The Vikings have some good defensive players, and they're going to test the offensive line. It's going to be an early test for the Bengals to see if this new offensive line is able to keep guys like Daniel Hunter and Anthony Barr to a degree, and some of these pass rushers out of the
And Everson Griffin's back too.
Everson Griffin was signed. Yep.
So yeah, it's gonna be like I said, it should be like I said, good test. Like I said, for both teams, see where they're gauging. Like say if like the Vikings can beat what's perceived as a lower end AFC team, and the Bengals can beat a middle of the road NFC team.
Yeah, it's going to be an important game, I think, for the Bengals' confidence, if nothing else. If they come out and get embarrassed or lose big, then it could kind of trickle down for the next several games where the confidence is kind of shot in some of these young guys.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, yeah, that's huge. Like, I mean, you just got to stay the course. My advice to you as a Bengals fan, just stay the course with your quarterback. Please stay the course. Burrow's good.
I think you will. I think, barring injury or some obvious setback, I think that Brandon Allen is the backup, and he's not going to go out and win you games. I don't have an issue with Brandon Allen. I was actually looking back at some of my draft takes, and I believe I had a day 2 grade on Brandon Allen when he came out. So I have a history of liking Brandon Allen, but I don't want Brandon Allen starting 10, 12 games.
I would have.
In any circumstance, Burrow should not be benched unless he's hurt.
Yes, I agree. Like just keep him confident. Keep him encourage him. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm just witnessing it firsthand from the Bills. Like everyone's like, "Oh, Josh Allen's trash after the year 1." He wasn't good, but he wasn't horrible. It's like his accuracy was but he's like his athleticism was there. Just ask Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah. If you're gonna start a rookie quarterback, a young quarterback, once you start them, unless they're just clearly overmatched and or hurt, of course, I don't think you can be yanking them in and out of the lineup Miami did Tua last year. I hated the way they handled Tua last year.
Oh God, I
either let him play or don't let him play, but quit putting him in, taking him out, putting him in, taking him out. That's terrible for young quarterback confidence.
I agree. I mean, not just. I mean, this man with Bills fans, like, yeah, I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Like,
that couldn't have helped his development any at all to keep getting yanked in and out.
And I mean, and he's still recovering from that hip surgery. I can guarantee. I mean, I hope he's better. I mean, for the sake of the NFL, I hope he's better this year.
Yeah, nobody would have blamed Miami if they didn't play him at all last year. If they just said we're taking this as a year, he's coming off a major injury, potentially an injury that could have ended his career. Like, let's just give him a year to learn, and nobody would have denied that. But when they put him in, let him play.
I think they would give him that's a good plan, Miami. Like, just like hey, here's a playbook, memorize it. You got a year.
Yeah.
And Ryan Fitzpatrick is an adequate quarterback, like, for a year. Like, he's no longer the leading rusher for the Miami Dolphins. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think it was that was 2 years ago. I think he led the team in rushing. He's like, what, 37 at the time?
I know at least one. It was ugly in the running department for them. But either you got to let the kid play or not play. But yanking them in and out of the lineup, I don't like that at all.
No. Yeah, and like I said, just stay the course with Burrow. Like I said, from what I saw at LSU, it's like, this kid's good, like, absolutely amazing. Like I said, I'm not surprised he soared up to, like, pick one.
Yeah, he's the thing with Burrow is his physical tools aren't going to wow anybody. Like, he's got a good arm. He does not have a great arm by any means.
But he's accurate.
Athletic, but he's not going to outrun Lamar Jackson or anything. He can scramble, but he's not going to win games with his legs. But his mental acuity, his pre-snap ability, his accuracy, and his overall just toughness and will to win, so to speak, is something that is really just got a lot of uncoachable traits that potentially make him a special player.
I like the fact he's also from Ohio.
That always helps.
Yeah, like you said, that's just really cool. I mean, he's from Athens, Ohio, in case anyone doesn't know. Like, because his dad was the defensive coordinator for Ohio U, if I remember correctly.
I think so. That sounds right.
Yeah. And again, Ohio University, not Ohio State University. Trust me, it's
not the same thing.
I trust me. I've been to Ohio U. It's a bit of contention on that campus.
Yeah,
I absolutely love that campus in Athens. It's a gorgeous campus. It's gigantic, though. But like I said, do not confuse Ohio. They won't even acknowledge Ohio State by name on campus, like people like in admissions and all that.
Right.
I'm sure they hire of it. I think it's that school in Columbus. Because I remember the admissions guy I met with was like, yeah, we're like one of only 2 schools in the whole state of Ohio that has like someone from every county in Ohio. It's us and that school in Columbus. And it's all he said.
Right.
Like,
I can see that.
wow, no chill.
I can see that being the case.
Oh, absolutely.
Sort of a little brother syndrome almost. Like you're tired of hearing about it.
Yeah, I think it's not like we've heard it, but we've heard it. But so you got a prediction for the game score wise?
What's that? I'm sorry.
I think you got a prediction for the score.
No, hang on, I'm having some phone issues.
No, it's all good.
All right, try that one more time.
I said prediction for the score of the game.
Oh, prediction for the score. I'm going to listen. I get called negative on Twitter all the time because of my opinions on the Reds and Bengals. I'm going to predict that the Bengals win the game, and I'm going to say 30-27.
I was going to go 24-21 Bengals, like a game-winning field goal.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Yeah, I said, holy crap, everyone was like, Vance is true. Like, he is like Mr. Negativity on Twitter. It's hilarious. But like I said, like, you're not negative, Vance. You're Vance. It's who you are. And if you weren't
I just embrace it and go with it. Like if it
makes
people happy and brings people together to pick on Vance, then I can take it.
I just pick on you because you're yourself, and I appreciate you for that. I really do.
Oh, I just like to have fun. As long as people are at least respectful, I don't mind. I don't mind back and forth or disagreeing or arguing even. As long as it doesn't turn name calling and childish, then hey, go ahead and at Vance Meek and tell me how stupid I am.
Yeah, I can do that.
More negative in many cases.
Sorry, I just lost it all because I mean, yeah, I get that too. I mean, when I was writing regularly, I would get it routinely, and like I'm talking about the least sexy team in sports. Sorry, I am. The Buffalo Bills were the least sexy team in sports in like 2012 when I was working at Rand.
Right.
I mean, come on, we're the third smallest market. We have no team, no starting quarterback. We have like nothing. I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to write about this team?
Right. I've been there.
I
just about in that kind of situation. There's just nothing to say.
Yeah, it's like I get the messages from like Jarek or like the late what's his name Dan Parsik, like, can you write something about the Bills? I'm like, there's nothing to write about.
Teams they go through those periods, I think, where they don't have anything exciting like at all. What are you going to talk about? They lose a lot and they have no good players. I'm out of ideas.
It's like, thanks guys. I'm like, I mean, I could tell you that like the Trent Edwards is like scratching himself.
Right.
I mean, one day I was like going, what can I write about without getting fired? So I mean, like, I think so we got
it's hard as a writer sometimes. I don't know if people understand that when you're writing about a team and that's all you write about. There's only so many articles to go around for teams that are struggling or in a bad period of time.
Well, you can always mention that Tim Tebow is a viable option. Just saying.
There you go. That'll probably get more clicks than anything else, to be honest.
You would probably be amazed how much clicks Tim Tebow gets.
Oh, I have no doubt.
He is the golden athlete of sports history, and I appreciate it for that. I appreciate the money he brought me. Like he's like, you could say like right now you could probably write something for like any site now and say Tim Tebow signing with the Cincinnati Bengals, and you probably would get 100,000 views on it.
Oh, I'm planning a mid-season should Tim Tebow replace Joe Burrow article right
now. I would read that. I really would.
It's going to be big.
I would just not publish your phone number and your address anywhere.
No, I'm going to make sure edit any trace of personal information in that one.
I would use an alias like Alan Smithy or something like that. Don't use Vance Meek. Please do not do that.
I'll blame it on my brother.
I like that idea. Blake will appreciate it.
I'll sign it in under him.
That's the plan. I like that. My name's Blake Meek. Here's my email. Here's my address. Here's my phone number. Call me all day, 24/7.
Driver's license information. Put it all on there. Address.
But I think I've had nothing else. I mean, like I said, this was gonna be quick in and out. I think we got everything covered.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's going to be. I think it'll be a good game. To be honest, I don't know if it'll be the prettiest game ever, depending on how the offensive lines hold up. If both offensive lines stink, then it's going to be a lot of quarterbacks just rolling around on the ground underneath fat guys. But
That's
if they can manage to keep upright, I think it could be a pretty fun game. The wide receivers definitely have advantages over the secondaries, and so we'll see how that plays out.
You have the greatest track meet ever that like no one will really see.
Possibly. I don't even know if I'll get to see it. I think the game's on Fox, and I don't know if it's going to be on my local Fox or not. I don't live in the Cincinnati market, so my local when they play on Fox, I usually don't get the game. Fox doesn't broadcast.
Are you secondary for Cincinnati? Or are you like tertiary, like third one?
I'm not positive, to be honest. I know what my local channels here come out of a Steelers local market, so we get all of the Steelers games.
Well, that's good.
We don't necessarily get all the Bengals games, and that is just not very fun.
Oh, I can imagine. It's like, I mean, that's one thing. Like, I'm an hour away from the Bills Stadium, so I do get all the Bills games, which is kind of nice. But like you said, like, I mean, when my brother was in college and he was like 2 hours southeast of me, he would get Giants games all the time. It's like, can I watch the Bills games, please?
Now we have a secondary CBS station. We get a CBS out of Lexington as well as an extra channel, and the CBS games play there, all the Bengals games. But if they're on Fox, I'm probably out of luck.
Oh, that's cool. I'm curious.
So with my luck, it'll be a final score of like 68-63 or something. It'll be the craziest game in the history of the NFL, and I'll be sitting here watching. Who knows?
You wouldn't get the Steelers. I wonder if you'll get the Steelers game Sunday because, like I said, you're like in that market and it's gonna be on CBS.
If they play at 1, that's the game I'll have on CBS.
Yeah, I mean, at least you'll have the loudest game of the week. That Bills. I'm telling you right now, that Bills game will be rocking very, very loud. I invested in earplugs.
That's probably what I would be watching if I can't figure out how to get the Bengals game. We'll see.
Yeah, and like I said, hopefully it's a good game and the Bills win. Just for your sake alone.
Definitely rooting for the Bills.
I think half the country's rooting for the Bills. It's almost like as bad as the Patriots.
Bengals fans, your 2 favorite teams are the Bengals and whoever's playing the Steelers.
I get that, and it's like watching that poll. I don't know if you've ever seen those polls with the Patriots stuff. Whenever like they're in the Super Bowl, who's picking the Patriots? It's like who are they picking to win? It's like every state besides like New England, like the whole
Massachusetts.
Except for Massachusetts, Maine, Rhode Island, Connecticut. The rest of the country is like blue, and the rest is red for the Patriots. It's like, yeah, sign you're the most hated team in sports history.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Soon to be the Bucks, probably, if they win a Super Bowl again this year.
They're not winning this year. Buffalo will stop them twice. Don't worry.
Somebody should.
I hope so. But that's it. I got nothing else. I mean, thanks for coming on. Like I said, I just wanted to do a quick show with you.
Thanks for having me. Come on anytime. I don't.
Yeah, we'll definitely get you on probably mid-season. See how the Bengals are doing and whatnot. And like, I'll let you have my co-host.
There you go. All right. Yeah, I'm going to come back on. Just let me know.
Sounds good, Vance. Take care of yourself.
All right. Appreciate it.
Yep.